since I was a child, you know. My father was an artist. So it was always, I think, my destiny. It was just what I did as an interest. But I lost her very tragically in a car accident. And as you can imagine, that was devastating. I was so close to her. It was really, I've always said, art, and then in most recent years, my faith as well has saved my life. You know. But I actually stopped teaching when I got a big breakthrough. Well, I got two breakthroughs really. I got a commission to do 2 paintings for Buckingham Palace to promote the opening of the summer apartments.
Well, let's say thanks for coming in, because obviously
Yeah.
I've known you a long time and it's been a long time trying to get you on the podcast.
Mm.
So let's have a little bit
Has it
about
been a
how we
long
met.
time?
15 years?
Oh, I see, yeah.
Knowing you
started the
and getting you on the
podcast,
podcast have been since I started it.
which was 4 months
Just
ago.
about a few months ago.
Yeah.
So you were going to be one of my first.
Was I?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
thank you, Bernie.
You know,
I'm a very modest person. I know I've got to do these
you're
things.
such a busy man.
Oh, well.
What are you working on at the moment?
Well, just recently completed the painting of the Pope.
Okay.
Pope Leo. Yeah, that's my most recent thing.
How did you go about getting that done? Did you just take pictures of it? You just looked at...
Yeah, no, I research photographs, then build them all together, because obviously I'm not working from life like with yours.
Yeah.
So, and then make a montage, and then my eye goes round and I pray, and somehow it all comes together.
Do you find it easier doing it from live, or do you find it nicer to work?
They're just very different. No, they're very different. Yeah, there is that you don't have the pressure of that time. But are we filming? Oh,
I'll click it when we film. We'll get comfortable first. I'm not going to tell you when I click it.
No? No. I'd rather you did.
But no, that's interesting. So you basically, you don't. There's no preference.
Not really. No. I think probably it's more immediate, and to have someone there, and I can feel their sort of aura, you know, and everything else. So you're working from a distance when you're working from photographs.
So if you was working from photographs, would you do it over a longer period of time?
Oh yes, yeah, to a certain degree, yeah. You've got that. You can allow just to go back to it, you know.
And what's the most sort of length time you'd have for sittings? If you do you try and do it all in one sitting, or do you...
Yeah, normally it's in one sitting, because it's that mood at that time, and that's what seems to work best.
Have you done more on your portrait? Have you done more than one person at a time? Have you done groups?
No, but if I did, I have done groups, but normally from photographs.
Yeah.
You know, so couples basically. So, but if I did do more than one person, then it would be at least 2 sittings. You know, so but I'd need the 2 people there to begin with, to establish them both there.
And would you work in your own studio? Or would you go and visit?
I tend to go and visit people, because my priority is to make people feel happy and secure and safe in their own comfortable setting. You know, so,
okay, yeah. Just take us to when you started. How did it get in? How did you get into?
Oh well,
painting?
I've been drawing painting since I was a child. You know, my father was an artist. He passed away last year, and so it was always, I think, my destiny. It was just what I did as an interest,
So did your dad have a big influence on you with painting?
Definitely, yes. Yeah, he took me out, you know, drawing, because I grew up in Suffolk in Eastern England, and so we'd go walking together and do drawing together. And
did your dad make a living from
he was actually a draftsman,
okay,
and at the council, and then in his own time, but as a sort of sideline job, he was a cartoonist. He did political cartoons for the Cambridge Evening News.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you still got some of these drawings?
Sadly, I don't have them. No, I don't have them. No. Yeah, I know. It's a lot was lost when he passed, sadly.
So tell us how your career started then.
Well, basically, from going to art school, I went to art school. I mean, I think this is important to perhaps mention. I had a tragedy early on when I was 2 weeks after my 16th birthday. And I never shy from talking about this because I want the world to know about my mother. But I lost her very tragically in a car accident. And as you can imagine, that was devastating. I was so close to her. It was really, I've always said, art, and then in most recent years, my faith as well has saved my life. So it saved me from sinking. And she was very keen on me doing my A levels after all my exam results were very good. But I couldn't cope with them at all, so I dropped my A levels. And my father took over and just went to the art school and said, "Does he still have a place?" I'd had an interview with the art school, with my mother actually a few months before, and they were so sorry to hear what had happened. Of course, we wanted him, so that's how it really started. And so that became very therapeutic. And I knew that had to be my focus to sort of survive in life, really, was my art, and I was always doing it. I just had to create.
So at that point,
it's my life.
Was your religion still important to you then?
I never had a clear faith at all. But I always felt I was sort of looking upwards and quite spiritual, and my mother went to a convent school, and she was sent to boarding school. I don't think she had very happy experiences there. Well, I know she didn't, and it slightly turned her away. It was only my need to survive the tragedy I went through that afforded me trying to find a way, a more spiritual depth, So I felt I was kept searching all through art school. And then through people I met along the way, I was guided to the Catholic faith. And that in the last sort of 20 years has become more and more dominating in my work. It's, that's a lot of the requests I get for my work, commissions, are Catholic tribute paintings. I seem to be doing something new, quite iconic, and that's bringing light in what we all know is quite a dark.
So did you have a happy time at university?
It was, I mean, I was fighting through a lot of grief, and it was a difficult time, but I've always had a great sense of humour. And so, when I see people, they remember what I was going through, but they always remember my humour.
Yeah.
And
so you made good friends?
Yeah. I saw
friends you've still got now?
Yes, yeah. So this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
40 years ago.
Was that where you developed your style of
that
painting?
came gradually, not in the first couple of years. I always had a facility to I suppose draw quite academically, almost photographically. But because I had this great need to express something deeper because of the relief I needed to feel emotionally, I was searching for a way, searching to say something more rather than just recording, what I was seeing. And obviously along the way, through art history and everything, you get introduced to different artists. And I was very sort of drawn to German expressionists like Kirchner and Emil Nold, and some of the more famous expressionists, which is, if I have to be boxed, that's what I call myself, an expressionist artist. Van Gogh and Picasso. So drawn to the colour and wanting to get closer to my subjects, but in a very different way rather than just recording photographically.
Because you've developed your own style and you've developed your own colours. Your work's very noticeable.
Thank you, Bernard.
So you have developed your own style.
Yeah, thank you. And we go back a long way. I mean, it's about, I think, 15 years. I found your printers, and you've been printing my prints
Yeah,
for many
and
years.
they're wonderful to do because they've inspired us all here,
Oh, thank
and
you.
it's lovely
Yeah,
to see your work.
and it's what's lovely is that it affords people the ability to own some of my art if they can't afford originals.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they're signed, they can be dedicated, and so that's been a wonderful sort of thing.
Tell us about sort of where you actually started to realise that you could earn a living out of doing art.
Well, when I finished, I actually did a teaching degree after art school. So I went to Ipswich School of Art, then I went to Norwich School of Art for the fine art degree, and then I did a postgraduate in teaching degree, which is sort of a lot of artists do to get a teaching degree, or actors or whatever, something that they can. And I did teach for a while. And for 10 years, I taught in an adult education college in Chelsea, and teaching ladies to paint portraits, basically.
Oh, okay.
But I really was sharing my own sort of modern
You enjoyed
approach. Anyone who's ever taught knows that teaching is stressful. You've got a whole load of individuals, and you've got to speak to the whole crowd, but you've also got to get to know each of those individuals. So it was stressful in some ways, but yeah, I felt that I gave my best to it anyway, So, but I actually stopped teaching when I got a big breakthrough. Well, I got two breakthroughs really. I got a commission to do 2 paintings for Buckingham Palace to promote the opening of the summer apartments, and that came from the London Transport Museum, that acted as agent for Buckingham Palace. So I did 2 paintings on location, and both of those paintings were used to promote the opening of the state apartments.
Well, that's very important. That's very a nice commission to get. How did they get in touch with you? How did they?
Can I just take a? Sorry.
Okay.
Well, what happened was, as I say, just to go back slightly, after the teaching degree, I then actually sort of became officially self-employed. There was a government scheme at the time, 1990, and to become self-employed. So that's how I basically began. And then I just began, which is sort of an endless journey, really. We know from even the most successful companies, they never stop promoting, Coca-Cola, and I'm not under royalties to them, but I mean, they're just always coming out with new.
Yeah.
So, because people often say it must be wonderful doing what you love, and it is. That is my passion.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more than just the creations. You're always having to think of different ways of promoting.
Yeah.
And what was your question?
So the commission, come to your mind.
Oh, sorry.
So how did you actually get the commission? How did they get to know who you were?
Oh, yes. So part of my promotion at the time, I'd often looked at the art on the London Underground posters, and I thought, well, I'll write to the London Transport Museum with a little selection of photographs. This was around the mid-1990s, and long before the internet had really taken off. So these were postcards of photographs, my own photographs of my work, and then I sent a mini biography, and I didn't hear anything immediately. And then I suddenly got this letter from the London Transport Museum. Would you be interested in doing a commission of Buckingham Palace? I thought, would I? Because architecture is one of my passions. I absolutely love painting architecture, classical and contemporary.
Yeah.
So, and so when I met the then director of the London Transport Museum for the interview with it, he said, "Oh yes, we'd received your work." He said, "What I do is I file it, and then as different projects come along, I go through that file." And he said, "I'd been keeping yours because I was very struck for the one that I thought it would really suit you."
Yeah.
And he said, "I saw this come up. I thought, Stephen B. Whatley."
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so that was wonderful, and it was an amazing process because I was taken with him. I met the then head of the Royal Collection, Sir Hugh Roberts, and I was taken to Buckingham Palace, and they said, "We're going to give you freedom to select what you paint." So it was basically two paintings, um, an exterior view, which actually is on the wall behind you,
Yeah.
because it was actually commissioned to, as I said, advertise the palace, and commissioned as a square painting, um, because to fit with the advert, which was
Yeah.
quite
Yeah.
unusual. Huge painting, though. I mean, it's 102 centimeters by 102 centimeters, 40 inches
That's
by
big.
40
Yeah.
inches. So, and it hangs in Buckingham Palace today. So,
It's amazing.
um, so that was the exterior view, which I painted from the edge of Green Park. When it came to the interior view, they said, we're going to give you freedom on this. We've got two choices for you. So they took me to the music room, which is the back of the palace, and beautiful room. And then they took me to the foot of the grand staircase. And as soon as I saw the foot of the grand staircase, I said, "This is the one."
Yeah.
And so the next proviso for doing the painting, I think, I did the interior first, was, well, we'll arrange a date to do this painting, but it has to be when Her Majesty, this is when Queen Elizabeth II was there,
Yeah.
is not in residence. Although I would have been very
Yeah.
gracious to her. But I said, because they were going to allow me, which they did, to set up at the foot.
Yeah.
So I put all my tarpaulin flooring down and my easel up and everything else. And then I was allowed 2 days, because I said I work very spontaneously, but I may need more than one, if you like, sitting. And so over 2 days, I made this painting of the grand staircase, and that became another of the London Underground posters. And again, all over the London network. That was all over the London Underground in 1999. This painting of the exterior behind you was 2 years running. They said it was so popular, we're running it another.
Who looked at your work once it was done and said, "Oh, we're really happy with that, Stephen"?
Oh, well, the Royal Collection, Sir Hugh Roberts, and then um, obviously the London Transport Museum, and then they're both taken to the monarch, who oversees as well.
Okay.
And I have a little bit of inside knowledge, because it's well known that, well, the Queen, as she was then, didn't give personal opinions, but you would know if she didn't like something or whatever.
Yeah.
So about 7 years after I'd done these commissions, I had an exhibition in Cork Street, actually, in the Arndine Gallery. It's long since gone, like lots of galleries at the moment, but it was, and I asked, it'd never been shown publicly, the exterior view.
Oh, okay.
So I asked for it on loan. I wrote to the palace, and I was surprised because I got a quick answer, and they said, "We're in agreement with this as long as you will have available leaflets about the opening of the palace." So there we are.
Right.
They were promoting away
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. They use it to promote themselves as well.
Yeah. So
So that was your basically start into actually getting more recognised.
yeah, that was certainly a big break. And just to finish that story about how I got a little bit of inside knowledge, was the curator. I had to go and collect the original painting, as I say, it's very big, from St James's Palace, actually. I don't know why, but anyway, it was delivered there. And I met a nice young Irish curator lady, and she said she was very excited to meet me, and she said, "I have to tell you, I shouldn't be saying anything," she said, "but I had quite a lot of trouble getting hold of this painting. There were a lot of people a little bit distressed and upset. Where's it going? When's it coming back?" And she said, I have to tell you, it's very popular high up at the palace, if you know what I mean. So,
Yeah, that's good.
so yeah, that was
It's a
really
nice boost, isn't
yeah,
it?
it was. It was very honouring and
Yeah.
touching. And as I understood it, uh, the Queen's husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, had quite a liking for modern art. He'd commissioned quite a lot of modern art, so I expect it came from him.
Mm.
And of course, the Queen loved all the pageantry, Queen Elizabeth loved. And the painting, made over 9 hours on location, captures so many different moments, including the changing the garb, which is where the painting gets its title from.
No, it's wonderful. It's really, really nice.
Oh, thank you, Bernard.
You know,
Yeah.
I've looked at it a lot, so I've seen it and I really enjoy it.
Do you remember seeing? Because a lot of people will say to me subliminally, they say, "I remember seeing that on the Underground," because it was those posters were above the seats on the London Underground. So that's the.
Tell us a little bit about that, because you've got some other stuff that are on display near the Tower of London, haven't you?
Oh yes,
so tell us a little bit about that while we're on that sort of subject.
Yeah, I just have another. I'm a
bit of a drink while you're serving art.
I'm a waterholic.
Yeah.
I think with anything, Bernard, with everything, and we know each other quite well, I'm a very passionate person, but everything I feel deeply. So, which is probably comes across, and we'll come to like our portraits, through my work, and which you've had some experience of. So, oh well, the Tower of London commission was my biggest break, and it was wonderful. It was just at the end of, I'd say, it was December 1999, so the end of the 20th century, and it was just again before we were all widely using the internet. I don't think I had a computer till 2001. So I was still, writing to people, and I had a PO box. So I went to my PO box business address, and there's a white envelope there with a 2-line letter in it saying, "Dear Mr. Whatley, would you be interested in undertaking a commission of 20 paintings for the Tower of London?" And I thought, wow. I mean, even though immediately the thought of it was daunting, I thought, this is a blessing. I have to say yes, So as simple as that. So early in 2000, arranged a meeting with the as it was called then, the Tower Environ Scheme, which was working for the Tower of London as like an agent. They were doing a lot of refurbishments around the Tower of London, and one of the refurbishments was the pedestrian walkway underpass that leads from Tower Hill Station to the Tower of London itself. And I had been through that, and I knew it was in a state of disrepair, and it was full of damp and graffiti everywhere. That's amazing they hadn't done anything sooner. So anyway, I met Bob Hill, his name was, very nice man, and he interviewed me, and he said, "We've already had 2 designers that couldn't cope with this project. Are you sure you can?" And I said, "Well, how did you find me?" He said, "It was through Buckingham Palace. We saw your work, what you did there, and we feel you're the person." So, but it's a big job. It has to be inspired by the history, and then some of the paintings will be of the areas of the tower, some interiors. So a lot of paintings were painted on location in there. Anyway, so he showed me the plans, and then he came back to me soon after. He asked me provisionally to do a couple of charcoal drawings of ideas that I'd come up with. They loved what I did in charcoal. And then he said, "We've studied the panels, and now the architects have looked at the complete plan of what's required, and we found there's 30 paintings." I said, "Right." So so are you prepared to do that? And of course, I was very keen, So so it was an absolutely amazing experience. I had my dear friend Michael, who worked with me as assistant, and we really became like curators of the project. Really, I think the Tower of London just saw these people know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and we just leave it in their hands. And we were so inspired. But it was 8 months.
I was just going to ask you, how long did it take?
Yeah, 8 months.
What was you
30
do
paintings.
before you took that on? What, and you'd done obviously Buckingham Palace. What was you sort of doing in between that?
Oh, in between that, then I had exhibitions early on, and then undertaking commissions. So it might be portrait commissions.
So I'm saying you were quite busy.
Oh yes,
So
yes,
you
I
so you
was.
gave up this time.
Oh yeah, no.
to do
Once that came in, and I was paid a deposit, and then to devote my time
Yeah.
to this work,
Yeah.
and they were just overwhelmed with what I did. And some of the work would be in my studio. It was work. So there was, I mean, I had to do royal history icons, Sir
Yeah.
Thomas More, Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth I, so many. And and then so they would be wherever possible. I would make as direct reference points as I could. So,
Yeah.
for example, for Sir Thomas More, the most famous image of him is the Holbein in the Frick collection in New York. Now, I couldn't go to New York at that time, but there happens to be a virtual copy by another artist of the same generation owned by the National Portrait Gallery.
Right.
So I actually was in touch with the National Portrait Gallery. They knew it was an official commission, and the painting is on display at Montacute House. And so I went there and made studies in front of it, big charcoal drawings. And then my painting came from those drawings.
Okay.
I can't just, everything I do has to be deep and direct. I can't do anything casually. So, so as I say, historical figures, and then images of the tower itself. So, and the Tower of London actually gave me a temporary studio at the Tower of London, because some of the paintings I did were so big. I mean, I think one of them was 90 inches, by the longest one of Butler's Wharf. And it was easier to have it there on site where they needed it. So,
where are they now? Are they actually?
Well, they're actually at the moment. I mean, if I could have a pound for everyone who asks me where,
The
why are
originals
they not on
Yeah.
show? Basically, it was a refurbishment job. So they
Yeah.
wanted this tower walkway to be lined. But so many people say to me, when are they going to be on display? The originals. I mean, lots of these collections, even the main art galleries, they all have lots of work that's not on display.
Yeah.
It's just stored.
Yeah.
So they were stored for a long time below, I think, the Jewel House in Tower of London. They're now being moved to Hampton Court Palace. So it's something I keep saying. I've got several historians who want to accompany me. I need to rephotograph the originals digitally, because at the time we were still using 35mm photographs, so for cameras,
What year? When was that? What year?
That was 2000. Yeah,
Oh,
so it's 25 years ago. Yeah, it's hard to believe, really. So
we're going to do some more podcasts because I want to talk to you about your religious paintings. But I think I'd like to do that as an individual thing later. So just on this one, tell us a little bit about Stephen the man, about yourself, a little bit, how you start. We've got how you started, but what sort of things do you do outside of your painting?
Well, really art is all part of it. I mean, I'm very much I love nature. I'm quite a keep fit, but I walk everywhere. I've never driven. I swim every week.
Do you mix with artists?
Not really. No, I don't really. I've always been like that. I had lots of friends at art school, but I remember when I was at art school, at Norwich School of Art, there were open studios with spaces that you could work with. But I'm quite private, and I like to just have my own space to create. And there was a little turret in Norwich School of Art, and I was able to have this on my own, so that I had a studio there, you know. So
you've enjoyed doing some really interesting, I would call them celebrities. Tell us a little about what was that like when they've approached you and you're seeing people who are sort of like quite famous.
Well, initially, what I did was write to people and invite them. That's how, when I was getting started. And it was a lot easier then, you know, I'd write to people that were on stage, to the stage door. So a lot of the stars that I painted, that was in the 1990s. So it was Alison Steadman, whose birthday was yesterday, I think. So
we will be showing some of these paintings online on the podcast, so you can tell their names and they will be coming on.
Oh yes, yeah, and Sean Phillips, and Barbara Windsor, the late Barbara Windsor.
We've got Barbara Windsor here, which is a really nice picture.
She sat at home. This is at her
That's
home.
A really nice picture.
Yeah, 1992, a long time ago. And bringing it right up to date, of course, most recently, your good self.
Yeah, you done mine, and it's on display there, and it's lovely, and I really enjoyed the whole sitting.
I was going to say, I mean, we never, because we're always busy, but we never talked about how you felt, really.
Yeah, we sat for a long time and we got to know each other a lot better.
We did in between, because I can't talk when I'm painting, but we had nice long breaks.
Yeah, and it was nice.
And of course, uniquely, because I wanted to paint you in your own setting, I painted you here at KWT Printing. So, and it just worked so well. Everything, when I set up, I thought this is the perfect space.
Yeah.
It was unusual because I normally paint in daylight, but the lighting worked perfectly.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm happy to...
It was nice, nice and relaxing for me as well.
You found it relaxing. Good, yeah, because a lot of my sitters have said that. They've said, and a lot of them, because they were theatrical people, have been used to being on stage, a lot of attention, but they hadn't done something like that, so they were quite nervous. And I said, my priority is that you feel comfortable. And they said to me at the end, gosh, that was so relaxing, because you don't actually get a lot of chance just to do nothing and contemplate. And that was wonderful for me, you know, because I am intensive how I'm painting. You've seen, you know, there'll be sudden bursts of real passion and then delicate parts.
Yeah, it was. Without doubt. Yeah.
I'd like to see it, because I haven't really seen that. You took a couple of photos of
I
me
took
in action.
I did, and I've got them. And I will show them to you. They're really interesting.
Yeah, maybe we can show that.
So, if someone was interested in having a portrait done, and there will be people interested, how would they contact you? And tell us a little bit about how they contact you, where you are on social media, and how people get to know you.
Yeah, well, most immediately is my website, stephenbwhatley.com, and that's my name.
Yeah.
The B is very important to me. I always tell the story because I was blessed to be given as my middle name, actually my mother's maiden name. My parents were quite original in naming my sister and I.
Okay.
And then when I lost her, it was really important to me that she was always going to be acknowledged, you know, because I've celebrated her through my art. On my website, there's a gallery devoted to my mother of posthumous tributes I've painted to her. So I think if we've had good parents, never forget that they are the people that brought us into the world. And she loved me so much, and I loved her so much. And she was very young, you know, 37. So, but most directly, yes, through my website. There's a contact email there. And on social media, I'm on Instagram, Twitter, or X as it's been renamed. I think it's better as Twitter, but I love the bird icon because I love birds.
Yeah.
And Instagram as well. So, and Facebook. I'm on Facebook as well. So I try and keep. I've become like everyone, you know. I try to discipline that, but not checking my phone all the time.
And the best place for people to see your work is on your website.
It is really, yes. Yeah. Also from there, on the news page, you can see also another site I have, flickr.com, and that's ever changing. So that sort of has updates.
And they can contact you then.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. But the website is the best place, yeah.
There's lots more to talk about. There's all your religious paintings. There's New York. There's all these things, absolutely. But I'd like to save that for another podcast.
That's fine.
I think it'd be great to have you back, and because so many things that we can talk about.
Yeah.
And I think today's been a really nice time to introduce you.
Oh, thank you, Bernard.
And
It's been an honour for me. I know you've been asking me for a while.
I have, and I want you to come back. That's why I don't want to tell everyone about all your work.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot more interesting things, especially all your religious stuff.
Well, as a good friend said to me once, you can't read a book in a day.
No.
Well, some people can, but...
yeah, but no. And I think that's because that's quite a big area for me, because I like the religious side and I like our relationship on that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We both share a deep faith.
Yeah.
So just briefly, just going back, and that might be something we want. You were asking me about outside what else I do.
Yeah.
And I didn't mention that something that's real sort of therapeutic, but a joy for me, as my art is. That's great passion, but a simpler joy in a way. Of my cartoons. So and you've seen my cartoons. Yeah. So
well, you've done my grandchildren.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful, and they love it. And
that's right.
It hangs in it's a private place in their homes.
And a couple of years ago, I did actually do a commission for because I love old Hollywood. That's another of my big passions.
Yeah,
the golden age of Hollywood. And for a contemporary of Marilyn Monroe, the actress Mamie Van Doren, film actress, who is still living at 94. And she's, at this moment, she's completing a documentary film about her that will be promoting her autobiography, which I've illustrated with very deep cartoons. Yes, you've seen. Yes, you made some prints of them before the originals went to her. So that was an amazing experience. But that's something.
And can we see that on your website? Have you got some?
Not yet. Not the actual cartoon. She's been very sort of. Don't really want it all released. There's been a few things really until the book comes out, which I think is going to be early next year. So it's been quite a long.
We can touch on that on the next podcast, because I want to show some of your work as well.
Yeah,
and
absolutely,
show people so that we can. So there's so many areas to it.
There are. I mean, it's my website, as people will see, is very eclectic. So there's a lot of subject. Everything I basically paint is with great passion, and the same. I just feel my way through my art. So
that's fantastic. Yeah. Well, lovely. Thanks for coming in, Stephen.
Thank you.
And we will. Bernard, I'm looking forward to doing the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure everyone's really going to enjoy this podcast, because I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm getting to know you more and more every time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think some of our deepest conversations are during painting. Doing the portrait.
It's really, really interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Bernard.
So thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
thank you. Pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Steve.
Bernard. Thanks.
Right, you're off.
Is it off? Was that okay?
Brilliant.
Oh, thank you.